In a way, I feel up on here on behalf of thousands of kids. Whom, if we don't do something on this preschool front, get quality pre-K and home visiting too, and that's wraparound services, we're not going to have the life that we had for our own children. And it's that simple. 52% of the children in this city live in poverty. We're giving quality pre-K right now to 25%. If we repeat history, those in the bottom quintile of income, 9% of them will get to college, 9%. And with all the problems we've got, 40% dropout rates in our inner city schools in this nation, 70% of the inmates in prisons today are high school dropouts. We have 25% of the world's inmates with 5% of the population. Now, if we didn't know anything we could do that's different than what we've been doing that was proven or cost effective, you might say we still got to work on finding the cure like we do with some forms of cancer. But that's not the case. We've been fortunate in this community to have over the past 10 years success by 6 longitudinal studies that show you're ready for kindergarten on a very measurable track. 85% of those kids read on grade by the end of the 3rd grade. If they're not ready, that 85% becomes 45%. Think of that. I've seen a lot of data in 40 years at Proctor Gamble for the difference of 85% ready versus 45% not ready is staggering. I wonder what it's like to be a 3rd grader not being able to read. What would go through the child's head as he or she sits there with other kids that are able to keep up with the reading lesson? I don't know. I can't pretend. The idea that you could opt out, finding something else to do, you see other students moving ahead of you. And we do know that if you're not ready reading on grade at the end of the 3rd grade, you're 4 times more likely to drop out high school, and if you're poor, that number 4 becomes 11. What we're failing to do here is outrageous. It is simply outrageous. Now, if somebody said we can't afford it, and some have, you'd listen to it. But as Jim Zimmerman, who is the former CEO of Macy's, and I described, this is a financial no-brainer. If a CEO were asked to sign, again with the provision that there's quality package for the budget, to provide quality pre-K, we'd do it in a minute, even if we didn't care about the social and moral aspects of it. There are all kinds of studies which we can make available to all of you that show payouts at 6 to 1, 7 to 1. I don't believe that. But everything I've seen indicates it's 2 to 1.
Okay, I apologize. I'll give you a private tutorial after this session. I'm here with a mission for each of you. You all have been devoted to this city. You wouldn't be here. And I want you to be part of an army that's going to go out to this community. And I don't want you just to sign the preschool promise. I want to ask each and every one of you to go out and find 25 more people you can talk to. And I want to ask you to ask each of those 25 to find 25 more people. I think today you've signed out how many people? That's a miserably low number. No, I mean it. Don't be critical, but 2,500 people in this city, we're going to need how many votes to pass a levy?
Thousands.
Tens of thousands. This has to be a grassroots effort. Other cities are doing this. This will happen. The facts are too compelling not to do it. The fact is our country's in big trouble. We have those dropout rates, we have 10 million unemployed, and we have 4 million jobs we can't even fill because we don't have the qualifications. But this is ridiculous. And yet we have something in our hand that's not a cure-all. We can't make every family stable. We can't do that. But you know, we talk about the Declaration of Independence, and we talk of the precept that all men are created equal and are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I've given a lot of thought, but what does that really mean? These words slide off our tongue like we talk about the weather. But I submit to you that every child has the right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, and that raises the question, what does that really mean? You can't create the parent household. Every case you can help. But one thing we can provide is health, for every child, and we must. And that's what makes universal health care so important, even if we may not have it exactly right. And we have to provide quality education. And there was a day where you didn't even think kindergarten mattered. And it wasn't public funding for kindergarten. I submit to you the day is coming sooner rather than later, and I hope soon in this city, where quality pre-K, 3 and 4-year-olds, and yes, home visiting for those families that need it, and there are those, will be seen as a fundamental right of a human being. We have the money to do it. We could provide quality 3 and 4-year-old pre-K for every child in this nation. And you know what percentage it is of the annual defense budget? 1%. 1% of the money we spend today on our defense would pay for quality pre-K for all 4-year-olds in this nation. And that investment would come back to us financially, multifold. We read that 93% of the income in the past 5 years has gone to the top 1% of the population. We read that if you're born in the bottom quintile of income, the chances of you reaching the top quintile during your lifetime is less than 10%. You don't legislate equality. You don't legislate equality. But you do legislate the conditions where every child has the opportunity as my children have. I was out in San Francisco. I have 3 grandchildren out there, but I was with the 2 that were in preschool 2 years ago. And I went with Kim to this school, and the mothers were so happy to be disposing of their children for a little bit of time. And these kids were so happy as they were there. And then I came back not too far from here where my mentee lives, right? And goes to South Avondale School. And he has 2 children, 2 little, well, his mom has 2 very young children. The neighborhood's so dangerous, she can't even let them go out and play. They didn't have pre-K. Why should my children, grandchildren, have pre-K? And they don't. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. We got to change it. Denver's done it. New York's done it. Listen, if New York can get pre-K for all their children, for that big city, can't we do it in Cincinnati? In fact, we can, because we have more evidence here. Dayton's going to do it. It's on the ballot in Seattle. San Antonio's done it. So we got to make it here. Got to make it happen this coming year. It should be on the ballot, in my opinion, by the end of 15. I don't know if it can be. I don't know if it will be. But it's going to require an army of support from people who believe in this, who understand it, and multiply 25 by 25 by 25. That's how my son's running his campaign. By the way, he's running for Attorney General. I'll get that out of here, too. All right, that's what I've got to say. But I really plead with you. It's so easy to say I support this. We don't need support. We don't need support. We need ownership. We need leadership. We need people out there committed to making this happen because they believe as I do. If we don't do this, we're not going to have the nation. We're going to lose it. And it's morally wrong. It is absolutely morally wrong to have this go on. When you have a solution. I'll finish with this. To me, it's like having a medicine. And we got this medicine, and it doesn't cure all diseases, and it doesn't cure the entire disease for all people. We need wraparound services. These are complex issues. You know that as well, or perhaps better than I do. But it's like we have a medicine that really does help a lot. And it's cost effective. We find it actually saves money. And we have decided to only give it to 25% of the people. And we are denying this to 75% of the people. I think of it that way. I mean, wait a minute. This isn't right. So let's change it. We can do it here. I think we can do it in this community. Others are going about it.